Welcome back to another edition of Between Two FARS. I'm Warneke Miller, and I am here with Michael Mark, who is one of our veteran procurement attorneys. He has got over 40 years of federal procurement experience, and today he's going to help us answer one of the hottest questions we've got going out there. What is a broad agency announcement? Michael, this term has been floating around and being used for all sorts of things. What is a broad agency announcement?
Well, it is a solicitation. It's covered by the FAR in 35.016. I first ran into them before they were included in SECA, and broad agency announcements are included in the Competition and Contracting Act. But before that, the Air Force Office of Scientific Research essentially did this on its own. And what it is it's a solicitation to the research community. And it basically says, we have a number of problems on which we would like research. And it does not have a lot of specifications or specifics. It has more of a discussion of, we're looking for research on, say, accurate lunar landing, autonomous lunar landing things to support the Artemis program. And we need vehicles that can, distinguish between pebbles and boulders and medium-sized rocks, and understand when dust is in the place as opposed to a solid rock. How would you solve these problems? And so the offerors basically write to, here's how I would solve that problem. And the BAAs are typically set up as a set of sub-areas, subtopics. So there's a general stuff, how to prepare your proposal, who can propose, foreign participation, cost, fixed price, etc. And then the subtasks have, okay, here are the problems that we're looking for answers to. And we put them out and they stay open for a long period of time. Some of them are open for a year or more. Some are only open for 3 or 4 months, but people will submit their proposals and we evaluate them on a rolling basis. The evaluation criteria is we don't use source boards like we do for Part 15 procurements. We use peer reviews. So these are the proposals are reviewed by scientists and engineers who are familiar with these areas of whatever the problem is.
And these peer reviewers may not be civil servants, right?
That's correct. They could be university professors or subject matter experts who are consultants or with a company, which yields some interesting problems from organizational conflict of interest and personal conflict of interest issues. And also we get into the contractors performing work closely associated with inherently governmental positions because they're evaluating proposals. So the BAAs frequently have a release that allows us to provide these under suitable protective conditions to non-governmental people. And oh, by the way, very often the peer reviewers are civil servants, but not from NASA. They're from DOD or NOAA or the National Science Foundation, other agencies with expertise in whatever it is we're looking for. So you get these proposals and the evaluation criteria are much more general than what you would expect to see in a Part 15 RFP. They're basically, what is the relevance of the proposal to the NASA mission, to the technical area that we've asked for help in? What do we think the likelihood of success of that proposal or that process that they're proposing might be? And then we do look at cost. So the write-ups are much looser that way. They're typically, what I've seen are they're working from a form that has all of the evaluation factors for that particular subtopic area, and they just kind of fill in the blanks with their narrative, and then those seem to get rolled into a set of PowerPoint charts that eventually are presented to the SSA. The way this works is the peer reviewers within their subtopics, they come up with what I would call an order of merit. Which one do we think is the best from a science point of view at solving our problem? And they work down the lists, and there may be dozens of them. I've seen some that have 20 or even 30 in a subtopic. Sometimes there are only a few, but often there are many in there. And the SSA will go through after it's been presented to them, and they can change the order of merit and do their own evaluation if they want. But typically what happens is they will fund through the order of merit until they run out of money. So they may say, I can fund 5 of these. And the NASA BAAs are dollar limited. Some say it's in multiple phases, and the first phase is no more than $500,000, and the second phase might be 2 or 3 million. The biggest ones that I've seen might be 10 million. So these are not designed normally to have large end item type things. Now, there is one organization that seems to be moving away from that, and that's STED. They are creating these AOs and BAAs where they're asking for hardware. You know, I need something that will do resource utilization of in situ resource utilization of things on the moon to make, say, rocket fuel or water or material that I can use to build a habitat.
Would they be looking for a sort of a prototype hardware?
Generally, yes. We're not getting the production hardware, but we are getting often a prototype and a demonstration model, and it may be then scaled up in the next phase. So that's a little unusual. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's unusual because typically a BAA is used for research. It's in Part 35 of the FAR, which deals with research, not with end item products. So breadboards and prototypes are okay, but production models probably would not be okay, and probably more expensive than the limits that we put on them. So
now,
that's
I know we've got a lot in the NASA
does.
FAR supplement that talks about evaluation criteria and the things that NASA's specifically going to look at. Do you think we could dive a little bit more into that on our next episode of Between Two FARs?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, join us again for a little bit more of Talkin' Shop and BAAs with Michael Mark on the next Between Two FARs.